All right, so as promised, today I'm going to deliver a video that's going to help you organize your life in the Freedom Mastery Planner or in anything that you'd like, but we're going to be using the tools that are in the Freedom Mastery Planner because they are extremely helpful and they will help you reach your goals. Before I jump into it, I'd like to remind you to like, share, and subscribe if you are into personal development and growth as a person in general. And don't forget to hit the bell so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Organizing your life is a really big step in achieving your goals. Now, the first step in achieving your goals is knowing what your goals are and realistically how long they'll take you to achieve. So I'd encourage you to do some digging internally and figure out what your goals are if you don't already have goals. And I don't just mean goals that are going to help you accomplish things that other people expect of you. I really mean goals that speak to your soul, things that are going to help you contribute to this world in the way that you feel like you're meant to. So create some goals, even if they scare you, write them down, and little by little, you can make your way to them. Now, in order to break your goals down, you should be organized. You should be planning out your month. You should be able to plan out your weeks and your days and tie the things that you're getting done into those goals. That's where this all ties in together. And getting organized, especially on paper, isn't very easy for some people. And for some people, the thought of how long it would take to do it scares them to the point that they just don't want to do it, or it turns them off because they don't want to do so much work. But I invite you to consider that doing so much work is actually what's going to set you apart from the people who aren't getting things accomplished, who aren't reaching their goals. Honestly, it takes me about 30 minutes a week in one sitting to plan out my whole month. And I'll do my month in one sitting. And then before the beginning of a new week, I'll start planning out my priorities for the week. And for the whole week, I won't go day by day, but just the week as a whole. And that maybe takes me 15 minutes. And then at the end of each night, I will plan out the following day, which takes me 5 to 10 minutes because I've already got a framework around what I want my week to look like, what I want my month to look like. And it's something that I work on little by little. So there are going to be some parts of my planner you see that might overwhelm you when you see how much writing there is. But consider that this is not all stuff that I wrote down in one day. These are things that I have written down over the span of a month, over the span of weeks, over the span of days. And that's how you create a bigger picture, piece by piece. And that's how you're gonna accomplish your bigger goals, piece by piece. So check it out. All right, so here's my planner. Although I'm gonna go through these techniques in the Law of Attraction planner, you can do this pretty much anywhere. So feel free to use anything else that you want. These techniques are not specific to this planner. So once you know what your bigger goals are, you can start breaking them down into monthly goals and then weekly goals and then daily tasks and priorities, so that little by little you're getting closer to accomplishing the things you want to accomplish. So what I do when I'm planning my month is very similar to what Diane does, so check out that monthly planning video again if you want to know how I started this off, because none of this is important right now. Besides the fact that you're seeing my business, which whatever, no big deal, it's nothing crazy. What I really want to talk about is none of this. It's actually all the parts that I'd say make an L around the calendar. Talking about breaking big goals down into little goals. Your biggest goal for the month doesn't always necessarily have to tie back into one of your big goals. In this case, this month is very important because it's the month before election day, which is the 3rd of November. And I wanted to make sure that I voted early. So that was my biggest goal for the month of October. Next month, my biggest goal will most likely be something related to an actual long-term or short-term set goal that I have. But for now, this is what my goal was. And what I like about this planner, and again, you don't need this planner to do this, but it's just a really cool concept, is that you can reward yourself for accomplishing those goals. So my reward for accomplishing the goal of voting was having a movie night at home, which might sound ridiculous to some people, but I, believe it or not, I don't do that very often. And especially don't do it with popcorn, which I love. So I told myself that if I voted early, and I turned in my ballot before the end of October, that I would have an at-home movie night with popcorn. And I did it, and it was amazing. So if you're not rewarding yourself for reaching even the smallest goals, then you could be doing it better. I'm not gonna say you're doing it wrong, but you could be doing it better, because that helps give you balance, and life is so much better with balance. The other thing I like about this planner is that it gives you a spot to put in a feel-good intention for the month. And I like this because it's something that I go back to often. And then something else that you could be doing to live a more fulfilling life and feel more balanced and better in general is learning something new for yourself often. And again, this planner is cool because it has a spot for that, but you don't need a planner to learn something new every month. Whenever I felt like I had time during the month, and if I wanted to read a book or watch a video or listen to a podcast, I made sure that I gave these things some time, because these were things that I was intentionally learning more about this month. The next thing that you could be doing is creating goals for yourself for each month, in addition to the goals that you already have for your life. Some of these goals might tie back into your life goals, and they should tie back into your life goals so that you could be making your way towards them. But there are going to be some things that come up specifically for the month you're in, or for the quarter that you're in, or sometimes some things just come up unexpectedly and you have to focus on those things and make those things a priority. Well, make them a priority and give yourself not too many to deal with a month at a time. And then I get a spot for action steps that I could be taking to achieve those goals. Literally the step-by-step process of how I'm going to reach each of these monthly goals. This is breaking it down. This is making it easier for me to want to do this, because now I don't have to just look at the bigger goal for the month and think, man, I got to get that done. I can do one thing at a time. If you don't have this planner, I highly recommend still doing these things, giving yourself a master goal for the month, or like a really big goal that's important to you that you need to accomplish that month. Give yourself a feel-good intention that you can always go back to. Challenge yourself to learn a new skill or a new habit, and so that when you have free time, you can go back to those things that you told yourself you were going to intentionally spend time learning. And then give yourself 3 actual goals. One of them could be the same as your big goal. They could all 3 be different goals unrelated to your top goal. So like these 2 are the same, basically. I wanted to vote, and then I had given myself a deadline by when I wanted to turn in my ballot. Just make sure that you're organizing these things and putting them in front of you often, so that you're more likely to get them done. This is what the week looks like in this planner. I know it can look very overwhelming because I write a lot, but I actually do this little by little, one day at a time. So again, just like with the month, we're not paying attention to this here. What I want to show you and focus on is everything that's around it. And that's because that's the extra stuff. These are the things that you could be doing outside of this planner or right in this planner that are going to help you be more productive, more efficient. They're going to help you feel better, and they're going to help you accomplish your goals. So just like for the month, there is a goal for each week that you could set. So like each week's goal has been different for me every single week. And every single one of those goals has been different from my main goal. Although there was one week here where it was related to my main goal. It wasn't the same goal because I still needed to mail in my ballot. This was just completing it. But there was an attachment there. So I had a master goal for the month, and then I broke it down, and during the week's time, I made it a priority to do little things that would get me closer to reaching that monthly goal. This is how you get organized in your life. This is how you get things done. This is how you cannot stress over all the things that need to get done, because once you have a grasp on everything, then it's easier to move through each step. In addition to your goal for the week, you can make a goal for every single day. These are the things that you absolutely want to get done. These are the things that you're not playing around with. And then underneath that, you can still add 3 priorities. If I don't get to all of them, at least I want to get to the main goal. And then whatever I don't get done gets rolled over into the next day. And so for my week's priorities, these are usually things that I just want to get done. This is basically my week's to-do list. These are very intentional priorities, and writing them down and seeing them and being able to distribute them over a week's span is extremely helpful, because then it just feels like you're doing stuff and you're doing them intentionally. And then when you look back in hindsight, you're going to realize that you accomplished really big things just because you took it a step at a time. And it's an amazing feeling. But in addition to the week's priorities and all this other good stuff going on, down here, Down here, there's a section for to-do list in this planner. I don't use it as that. I actually use it as a self-care list. So I guess it is a to-do list, but it's a self-care to-do list. And this is something that if you're a really busy person, and if you're the kind of person that's like me, who puts everybody else before you, this is really helpful. Most weeks it's different. Like sometimes I have more things than others on here. But just having a self-care list helps me keep up with me, and this helps me keep me happy. So again, like with everything else I've been saying, if you don't have this planner, you can still do this separately somewhere else. Make yourself a priority, because it's going to be so much better for you, and things will be so much better for the people around you when you're taken care of. And then there's also a positive habit maker here. I like that this is built in because there are certain habits that I am working on mastering. And then even the ones that I've already mastered but don't get to every single day, I like to see on paper when the last time I did it was. So there are a lot of things that I'm pretty consistent with. I'm usually pretty consistent with gratitude and love and meditation. I call that align time. I do it in the morning usually. But like, see, the last week I was much better with it. The week before that I was much better with it. So some weeks I'm better than others getting things done consistently. These days, you know, I probably didn't wake up early enough to do it, and I just hit the ground running and had to find time throughout the day to meditate during little pockets of the day. But yeah, this is just a really good way to be consistent with habit. You can always look back to see if you have been doing the things that you said you wanted to do for yourself. Last thing I want to show you is how you can reflect on your month. At the end of every month, it's important to ask yourself how much energy and time you're devoting to different parts of your life. And if the amount of time and energy you're devoting to different parts of your life, to certain parts of your life, isn't aligned with what's going to get you to where you want to go, then it's a sign that you should be making adjustments. So at the end of every month, you can be very honest about what you have given the most time to. You can also celebrate your achievements, because we so often like to go and not look backwards and not celebrate the things that we've already done. But doing that can burn you out and discourage you over time. So pay attention to what you've actually accomplished and celebrate that, because it's a big deal. And then there are different questions here, like, what did you learn? What did I learn this month? What were my mental blocks and fears? And just a bunch of different questions that you could be asking yourself at the end of each month. Even if they aren't these specific questions, go within at least once a month and really break down what happened the month before, so that you have a good head on your shoulders to go into the month ahead and to accomplish more things. I hope you got some value out of this. It was really my pleasure to walk you through this. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me or to reach out directly on the What Was Millennial page. I am all about helping people grow into the next best versions of themselves. Thank you for watching. Until next time.